Every academic I speak to is asking the same question right now, and most of them are too afraid to say it out loud. Am I still going to matter? If you ever caught yourself wondering whether AI is going to make you irrelevant, whether the years you've invested in your research, your expertise, your academic identity are going to count for anything in the world that's coming, I want you to know that that fear is valid. It's real, and you're not alone in feeling it. But I also want you to know this. The answer is not to retreat, and it's certainly not to wait and see. The answer is to move deliberately, strategically, and with a framework in hand. In this video, I'm going to share with you the 4-step system that I have developed as my guiding principle for navigating the rapid changes AI is bringing to academia. These are not theoretical ideas. These are the principles I have carefully researched, the system I'm actively living by as a researcher, as an editor-in-chief, as an academic entrepreneur, and I build my future in the middle of this uncertainty alongside you. By the end of this video, you will have a clear picture of how to replace fear with awareness, how to position your expertise so that it becomes AI-proof, and how to build intellectual assets that carry you confidently into whatever the future holds. Feel free to use my system or develop yours, but don't sit silent. The inaction in the era of AI can be your most expensive decision ever. And if you want to stay in contact with me directly beyond what I share here on this channel, drop the word connect in the comment section below, and I'll send you a link so that you can stay there and near. I would love to have you by my side as I navigate the wave of change. Over the past decade, serving as a faculty trainer, I have guided over 12,000 researchers to go from zero authority to building empires in their name. I supported the publication of over 2,500 articles in top journals and helped our faculty, even those near the age of retirement with zero Scopus track record, reach high intellectual and influential positions and lead armies of researchers. I have what many may consider a solid academic profile, serving as an editor-in-chief with multiple associate and guest editorial assignments. I've published over 180 papers, 15 books, and hold 8 intellectual properties. But I sit with the same uncertainty as you every single day. I'm not speaking to you from a place of having all the answers, but as someone who has made it their life's mission to figure this out and grow regardless of the circumstances, I am here to help you walk this journey together with me so we can figure this out together. This mission is woven into every single step that I'm about to share with you here. So stay tuned till the end of this video, because even if a small piece of what I share with you today clicks, you're set for the rest of this journey. Step 1. Replace fear with awareness. We all have the fear of unknown, and that's pretty normal. That's our brain trying to save us from whatever may hold a threat to us. It's essential to honor and understand your physiology, but also be aware of the fact that we are standing at the edge of something genuinely new, something that has the potential to revolutionize the future of humanity. And it's completely natural to ask, what is the place of an educator, a researcher, an academic in a world, an ecosystem that's evolving this rapidly? The World Economic Forum and the Future of Jobs report, along with many leading forecasters, estimate that in the coming years, the vast majority of jobs will be heavily impacted by AI. So this is not an imaginary fear, it's a real one. But fear is not the answer. The only cure to fear is awareness. The more you become a sponge, absorbing what's happening in the field, understanding how the world is reshaping itself, the more you start to recognize pattern. Then you begin to simulate the world that's around you, and from that place you can ask essential questions. We no longer live in the world of information scarcity. Quite the contrary, we live in the form of information overload. Our students can find answer to almost any question within seconds. They can access the best lectures on YouTube and can get instant answer from large language models to walk them through the most complex problems. The answers are no longer scarce. So what does that mean for us educators and researchers? It means that now, for the first time, the role of educators is to teach students how to ask the right questions. And above all, the real art of an educator nowadays is to support the students in navigating the enormous uncertainties that's ahead of them. The ability to sit with the questions we don't have yet the answer to, and to guide the students to find their way through the unknown. That's the art. So step one is simple. Remove the fear and step into learning. Subscribe to newsletters, to podcasts, to channels that keep you at the frontier of what's coming next. Stay curious, stay alert. That alertness, not anxiety, is what will carry you through. Step two, move from the one thing to one theme. This is another fear that has been unsettling the specialized community, the white-collar workers, the highly skilled professionals who were always told their expertise was untouchable. For a long time, the advice was clear: study computer science, learn to code, master multiple languages. These were the safe bets, the high-paying, future-proof careers. And now we're watching that certainty dissolve. Coding is becoming largely automated. Anyone can build apps without a single line of code. Simultaneous translation is being handled by AI. Jobs that once required years of training, analysis, writing, data processing are being absorbed by systems that work faster, cheaper, and without fatigue. Entire laboratories that once were filled with PhD students and postdocs are now operating with 3 or 4 agentic AIs. If everything that can be done by a computer will be eventually automated, what remains for us? It's a legitimate uncertainty. Here is the conclusion I have personally arrived at. AI will take the jobs of the average, but will never replace the brilliant. You know, in the long run, who truly stays in the game? Those who are so good at what they are doing that they can't be simply ignored. But here's the tricky part. For a long time, we were rewarded the idea of super specialization. The idea of picking one lane, getting really good at one thing was the mantra of ultra achievers. But here is what the projections of the future suggest. Don't specialize in one thing, specialize in one theme. Don't get me wrong, it's still crucial to have one line of expertise. I still want my name to be associated with one clear area of specialization. That hasn't changed. But within that theme, I am deliberately widening my umbrella, acquiring a diverse range of skills that all live under the same domain. Because the future, even in the most automated form, will be human in the loop. AI will run the experiments, do the analysis, and draft the reports, but there will be still a human being within that loop. Someone who validates the process, who asks whether the automation is doing the job right, who holds the judgment that machines cannot hold. Now, that human who remains in the loop does not have one single hyper-targeted expertise. You want to be that person. You want to place yourself in the category of humans who are highly and heavily qualified to be the human in the loop, the specialized voice that validates, guides, and governs the work of AI. That is not a contradiction of deep expertise. It's an evolution of it. Master your craft, but alongside that mastery, develop the skills that allow you to understand how the system works, how to bring different tools together, how to manage people, machines, and algorithms, and envision the bigger picture. That technical expert who understands this ecosystem, that is the person who will remain indispensable. I'm still working out exactly how I will build this for myself, and I'll share the specific examples as we go deeper into this conversation. So stay with me to see what my approach is in making myself indispensable. Step 3, diversify your assets, not just your skills. The third piece of this puzzle, and the one I find myself returning to constantly as I envision the future of academia and my own place within it, is asset diversification. We just talked about moving from building one skill to one theme and building a wider range of capabilities underneath that theme. But there is another layer to this, and it comes from the world of asset creation and diversification. In financial terms, asset diversification means spreading your investment across different portfolios in a way that they're not tightly interconnected. If one goes down, the others don't necessarily follow. You're not betting everything on a single outcome. I have taken that same principle and applied it to my life and my career as an academic. Under my one theme, which is helping researchers build academic authority through top-tier publication, I have been deliberately creating multiple assets, not just multiple income streams, but multiple platforms for impact and for ideas to come to execution. I've built a program, the Autonomous Academic Accelerator, dedicated to helping academics establish themselves as the go-to references in their field. That's an intellectual property registered under my name. Then, with the help of some colleagues, I've established a journal entirely dedicated to the future of AI and education. And then a global conference bringing together researchers from around the world to have exactly those conversations. And currently, I'm developing an AI-based academic matchmaking platform that connects the researchers in new ways. In every single one of these initiatives, I started with limited resources and a huge amount of willingness to expand. Each of these lives under the same umbrella, my theme, helping researchers build academic authority. They're all about the same theme, but together they give me multiple chances of succeeding in a future that is uncertain by definition. And here's what I want you to notice. In building each of these, I have been forced to grow. My digital literacy has expanded. My ability to communicate, lead, allocate resources, manage teams, and collaborate has deepened. I've learned to build networks, approach authorities, and build communities together. The assets don't just generate impact, they generate capability. They push me relentlessly to grow, and that is important now more than ever. But you may think, I don't have all the resources or the connections it takes to build new assets or diversify them. Here's what I want you to trust me on. You are already equipped to do so much. You might not believe this to be so. Researchers and academics are among the most knowledgeable, skilled, and intellectually capable people on this planet. You have wisdom the world needs. The question is whether you are packaging it in a way that can reach the world and serve others. You can teach what you know. You can offer your expertise as a service to the government, to industry, to organizations that need your specific insights. You can create platforms that educate others. You can expand your influence in your discipline, and with that, stretch the world of possibilities around you. This is not a departure from academia. This is academia reimagined, more resilient, more expansive, more human, and it is at the heart of everything I teach within my program. The future is uncertain, but diversified channels of contribution gives you multiple pathways through the uncertainty. And for those of us committed to knowledge generation, there has never been a more important time to build. Step 4, build a community and nurture it like your life depends on it. And here's the final step, and in my opinion, it might be the most important of all. Build community. We are moving into a future where humanity will no longer be the only highly intelligent species on the planet. And in that near future, we will need each other more than ever before. It's already been estimated that the rise of AI and digital systems will make loneliness one of the defining crises of our time, that people would feel more lost, more disconnected, more anxious about the future than any past generation. Some of the most forward-thinking future forecasters are saying that any venture rooted in genuine community building will be among the most successful enterprises of the upcoming decades. The same is being told about nature. As we become more immersed in artificial intelligence, humanity will hunger to reconnect with the natural world. Those are not soft predictions. These are signals about what human beings will need most. So when I think about my own work, everything I'm building, community is a thread running through everything I do. In the AAA program, we offer lifetime community access, not because it's a nice feature, but because we genuinely want to build a family. We want every member to feel that they belong to something larger than themselves, that they will never be left behind, that there's always a safe place for them to simply be, because I believe the future demands that we come closer to one another, not drift further apart. The conference I run brings together researchers, educators, government leaders, chief data officers, and industry pioneers from over 50 countries. On the surface, it looks like an event. It's an academic event. At the core, it's an act of community building, creating the conditions for collaboration, for trust, for the kind of conversation that happens when the right people are finally in the same room. Real human touch and feel. No AI in the room. Even the journal operates from the same philosophy, honoring the work of every author, compensating every reviewer, appreciating the editors, because a journal is not a publication, it's a community of scholars who deserve to feel seen and valued. Now, here is where the gold mines are hidden. Your network is your net worth. And this is something I want you to really hear. Building a network and nurturing a network are two completely different things. Many are good at the first, but very poor at the second. A community, like a plant, needs tending. If you plant the seed and walk away, it will dry out and die. You have to water it, you have to show up consistently, you have to honor the connections over the course of years, not just months. Trust is not something you hand to someone. Trust is generated slowly, steadily, through timely delivery, through accountability, through following through on your words again and again until people know without a doubt you do what you say. You mean what you say. So my recommendation to you is this: build your community with intention, nurture it with so much care, protect it as one of your most precious professional and personal assets. Because when you're equipped with the power of masterminds, people who believe in you, they work with you, they show up when it matters, you will be astonished by what can become possible. You will not fall into the trap of anxiety about the future. You will not face the uncertainty alone. You will have a living, breathing resource around you, people with whom you can move mountains, solve problems, and find your purpose. This is where self-actualization lives, not in isolation, in the community. So after hearing my strategies for tackling uncertainties, I'm wondering, what do you think is going to happen to the future of academia and higher education? What shifts are you expecting to further disrupt our lives? Drop me a comment. I'm genuinely interested to know, and I promise I will reply to every single one of your comments with my thoughts and reflection. Let's build a community right here underneath this very video.